Hello and welcome to episode number 60 of the Hafey Digital Podcast, a show for creators, makers, and doers. My goal is to help you make to the max. My name is Ryan, and in this episode we are going to be talking about how you can record desktop audio using OBS on your Mac, which is not built in like it is on the PC. Let's talk about it. Wrong button. There we go. Laugh that one off. I'm all over the place today. Welcome. Okay, shut up. Welcome to the Hafey Digital Podcast. Thank you for joining me. If you are new here, I talk about all things related to photography, video, podcasting, live streaming, and recently FPV, which we'll be talking about a little bit today. So if any of that interests you, I encourage you to hit that subscribe button wherever you happen to be watching or listening, and follow me on social media at Ryan Hafey on Instagram and Twitter. I also hang out over on TikTok these days. I'm just a little too lazy to update that little animation you see on the screen if you're watching this podcast. But yeah, feel free to give me a follow and shoot me a question if you have any questions. I do have people that reach out to me occasionally, and you know they've seen a video of mine or watch or listen to a podcast, and they have an additional question that they want to ask, and I'm always happy to answer. I will say, the more that come in, or if you have something that's real specific to your use case and you want to kind of talk about things more in depth, I do some by the hour consulting. $75 will get you an hour of my time, and we could sit down and go into your specific situation. But if you just have a quick question like, hey, I don't know, whatever. If it's just like a singular question based maybe around a piece of gear or some software or something like that, and it's not about developing a strategy around something or creating your own setup or getting started and just needing some help in that sense, yeah, just feel free to shoot me a message and we'll get into it. But if you are watching this and you are seeing some skippiness in the video, as I mentioned last week, I'm still having some internet issues. It's just that my upload speeds are very inconsistent, and they'll be real strong, and they'll drop down, and they'll be real strong again. I've tried updating my drivers, restarting, doing some different troubleshooting, and it's still causing me a little bit of a headache. So if you experience that a little bit today, that's what's going on, but we're going to power through it. So, the main topic for today's show is going to be, we're going to talk about how to record OBS or record desktop audio using OBS on your Mac device. In this case, I'll be using my MacBook Pro here. We've got it plugged into the 8 Mini, so I should be able to show you what's going on my screen and actually walk you through it. I will say in advance that this was something that I just learned the other day. So I actually have linked in the description of this video a better tutorial than what I'm going to tell you. So if you want to skip all this, if you're watching this right now and you're like, oh, I need to figure out how to do it, I want to do it fast, and you want to, watch someone who like sat down and actually planned stuff out, go watch the video linked in the description. Otherwise, I'm going to walk you through it live here and do the best that I can there. But before we talk about that, we do have to talk about some FPV updates. We don't have to, but I want to because I enjoy it. Let me grab this guy here. So, I finally got my remote control back. Quick context for that. My DJI remote controller, for whatever reason, the throttle stick started defaulting back to the center position, which it's not supposed to do. Wherever you move it up and down, it's supposed to stay there. So DJI had me send the remote controller back in. I did. They repaired it. They sent it back. And the day that I got it back, I went out flying and took this thing over to a field. And actually, I'll play a little bit of... let me play a little bit of footage for you here. This is not from... No, that's wrong. This is not from the day that I'm referencing, but I do have a couple little bits of footage here that you can take a look at. Let's see. Hold on. Hang on. I'm hearing audio. I don't think you're hearing it, but I need to mute this. Actually, I'll keep the audio levels down low. Let's see. Well, that's interesting. Why is it showing that? Oh, I know why. I don't want zoom. There we go. Okay, here we go. And then I'll enable here. I know this is a great pod. So there you go. Got some desktop audio there, so you can kind of hear what's going on in the background. Let me bring that down a little bit, and I'm going to restart this. So just updates as far as flying in general. I'm feeling a lot more confident. By the way, in this clip, you can see there's a white pickup on the right. This street, I think, is a speed limit of either 25 or 35 miles an hour, so you can kind of get a handle on the kind of speeds that this thing is pushing. And I don't feel confident enough to go at full throttle in a single direction yet. So, this thing, I've seen videos where this thing clocks in at like 95 miles per hour. I certainly have not got to those speeds. But as you can see by some of these little flips that I'm doing and stuff like that I'm getting a little bit more confident out there. And I'm trying to get used to flying real close to the ground, which actually I'll show you here in this clip. So there's these railroad tracks by the house. I'm also trying to get better at doing like roll flips, which you'll see here in a second, a little closer to the ground. Lift up a little bit, flip it over. There we go. And then if we come out here, let's see, this is where I enjoy doing these kind of real low flying shots here. And again, if you're listening to this only, check it out on YouTube and kind of see what I'm talking about. But these signs to the right that I'm flying by are all about 6 feet tall. So I'm probably a good 2 feet off the ground here, keeping it nice and low, throttle nice and consistent, just trying to really work on that throttle control. And then up here, I do something, I don't know, just doing some little flippy flips just for fun. But I'm getting much more confident, or at least I was yesterday. Now that said, let's come back here. So that said, the day that I got my control back, I was real excited. I got all my batteries charged up, went out to fly. And it was also the first time flying with this GoPro mount. I finally got the part that connects to the drone so that I can, actually connect the GoPro to it. Go out flying. I'm doing good. And this field that I fly in, or that I have been flying in lately, it's very long. But I don't have my goggles with me, but I got these new antennas for the goggle. So that basically extends the range. So I can fly all the way on the other side of this field by this building that's over there. And I was kind of flying in that area. I wasn't paying attention to how long I had been flying for. In fact, I don't think I was even flying for that long. I don't know. It was probably a combination of that. It was either my battery was lower in charge than I thought, or I had just been flying longer than I thought. Either way, I was flying over by this building on the other side of the field, and then I started to see my low voltage warning come on. So I started to make a beeline back towards me. And once that warning comes on, sometimes you get the low voltage warning if you're doing if you're doing something with high throttle, or, trying to do a big flip or something like that. But if you're just kind of flying around casually and that low voltage warning comes on, that means you need to get back to the home point and quick. And I'm learning very quickly that the better option is to just pay more attention to how long you've been flying and make sure that you don't fly for more than a certain time, because it's also not a good idea to completely deplete the batteries. Anyway, so low voltage warning comes on. I start trucking it back towards me, and the drone goes down. Even with full throttle, the battery had just completely depleted, and I had no choice but to crash the drone, basically. So as the drone's coming down, I get it about as low as I can comfortably get it. Still moving forward at a pretty good clip because I was trying to make it back quick. But I disarmed it when it was close to the ground, and then it just shut off, meaning I lost the feed in my goggles, and the feed and I could no longer control it with the remote. And this is, I couldn't tell where the drone had crashed in the field, because it's literally just a big field with a bunch of random plants in it and stuff, or like bushes. It was that field that you just saw, so you can see just how it's kind of big and barren. And I didn't get a good handle on where it crashed. So basically, all I could do is just walk through the field and see if I could try to find it. So I tried to walk a straight line between myself and where this building was, because I knew that it was flying directly back towards myself from the building. But the problem was, I couldn't see, the video feed had cut out, and I couldn't get it back. So I couldn't look through the goggles to try to get a handle on where the drone was in the field. And then I also, and then it lost connection with the remote control as well, meaning that, I couldn't turn on the beeper. I have it set up to where, if you go down, you can turn on the beeper and it'll make some noise so you can kind of walk in its general area and know where it is. But it had lost connection with both. So I was thinking the worst, meaning, I was thinking that the drone was just destroyed and I'd be back to square one. So I ended up having to walk for probably about a half an hour up and down this field. I walked up and down maybe 5 times and finally found the drone. And honestly, I was very, very pleasantly surprised. Let's see, we can come here. The only real structural damage that I saw was right here on the front, and it's really nothing at all, just kind of scraped some stuff off. Also, one of my propellers, all the propellers were fine, or at least 3 of them were, and then one of them, the propeller was bent up a little bit, and basically that prop was useless. But outside of that, everything else was in good shape. I did have to get home and clean the motors because I think it was on this front portion here where it crashed, and really all the motors had a bunch of dust and and debris and dirt in them. So when you turn them, you kind of hear they were crunchy. So that for me, and you can actually, I just noticed this. I think this was the motor that got hit the worst. But you can kind of see, lighting's not the best for this, but you can kind of see some little scratches and blemishes on the motor there from where it crashed. Anywho, I get home and, I took it as a learning lesson. I got to figure out how to clean the motors, and that basically just involved, unscrewing and kind of pulling the motor apart. I had to get in there with a little toothbrush, and I read online you can rinse them off with water, or at least rinse the top part, because the top part of the motor, this part here, like if you were to just pull this top motor off, below that you would be left with the coils, but in this top shell part, inside it is a bunch of magnets. So that's all that top part is. It's kind of interesting how they work. But yeah, I pulled them apart. I was able to get some compressed air, get in there, blow some of the dust out, use a brush, I used some like this kind of thick double-sided tape to get in there and get any of the rest of the debris. Put them all back together, and then I went flying yesterday, and that footage you saw was from yesterday, which means that the drone is back up and running. I did have another set of props, so I just replaced all 4 props, and it flew great. I was really happy with it. So it was a learning experience. Sucked to have to walk through that field. And man, I'm seeing so many drop frames, and it's driving me nuts. 4,933 drop frames. That bums me out, because that means that it's all like probably glitching and staticky online. Anyway, sidebar. But yeah, so that's the FPV update. And I'm happy to be back, at least. The remote works great. Everything's functioning. So I guess I can't complain too much. Anywho. So let's move on then to this week's main topic, which is about OBS, Zoom, and Mac. So to give a little context as to why I'm talking about this today, I was tasked with figuring out how to live stream OBS, or live stream a Zoom press conference. So we've got a fight next week that I'll be traveling to, and we want to do a presser during fight week, and we wanted to do it via Zoom. So I was tasked with trying to figure out how I could live stream this press conference. And that would mean, because I would be on site, obviously I'm not taking my PC with me, which is where I do all of my live streaming for the most part. I would be bringing my Mac, which is my work computer. But I rarely ever use Mac with OBS. So I did a little bit of testing just to kind of see how it would work. Now, Zoom does have a feature where you can live stream to YouTube directly from Zoom, as opposed to having to use anything like OBS. The problem with that, a couple problems. Number one, you kind of lose the ability to do any production. Like if you want to throw up a graphic or something before, you fade into the press conference, you can't do that. Because you're just literally sending just the Zoom call straight to YouTube. And also, at least from what I could see, there was no way to schedule in advance. So I couldn't, let's say, go into YouTube, schedule a live stream, and then when I'm ready, connect Zoom to that scheduled live stream. It just had to be, you just start the stream straight from Zoom. The other thing is there's a big, ugly Zoom logo on it, unless you have a specific Zoom, like one of the more pricey Zoom plans, in which you can, swap that out for some other branding. And even then, I think it's still like you can upload your own logo, but it'll still say powered by Zoom at the bottom of it, I think. Man, more drop frames, and now I'm getting alerts on YouTube. Error. YouTube is not receiving enough video to maintain. Oh, and now my connection is excellent again. See, that's what drives me nuts. I need to hardwire into my main router unit and figure that out. Anyway, sorry. So yeah. So that's the issue with doing it straight from Zoom. So I thought, okay, well, maybe we'll try a solution where we use Zoom and OBS and then stream from OBS, which, presents its own set of challenges. I'm going to be doing it on site at a hotel, which would mean I would need some fast, consistent internet. So that was one thing we had to look into. But the other thing was, how do I get, with one screen? Because here it's easy. Like when I do screen capture in OBS using this setup, because I've got another screen right here as well, I can just do screen capture. So, for example, I've done live streams where I've done Zoom live streams where I would have Zoom up on this monitor here, and I would have OBS over here, and I would just do a display capture to bring what was going on here into here. And PC by default with OBS, you can record desktop audio. On Mac, that's not available by default. You have to download a plugin that will allow you to capture. And what I mean by desktop audio is, let's say, you pull up like a video file or audio file, or maybe you're, watching a video on YouTube. The audio from those you would hear them in headphones or speakers or whatever you're listening to, but you wouldn't be able to pull that audio into OBS and then stream it out to wherever it's going. You need a special plugin for that. And that plugin, I found after doing some research, is called iShowU Audio, which, let me pull it up here. I'm going to get this up and running as well. So this, by the way, is the tutorial by World Media. This woman does a very good job of explaining it. There's a few tutorials out there. I actually don't think this was the tutorial that I first watched to figure it out, but I did see this one after the fact, and she does a good job explaining it as well. So if you want a more condensed explanation as to how this works, go to this video. It's only 7 minutes long. If you want to just kind of hang out with me, feel free, and I'll talk you through it as well. So there's a link to this page in the description of this video. This is where you will go to download the iShowU audio capture device. Again, this is just for Mac. This is not needed for PC. Assuming you have Catalina or the most updated Mac software, this is where you will get it. Just click download here, and this actually walks you through the steps as well. So maybe we'll just kind of keep this open as we're walking through this. So anyway. Step number 1, let's see if we can bring this up. Can we do this? Okay. Hold on. Wait for it. There we go. All right, so now we're on the Mac, and let's go into the ATEM here. Turn on a little picture-in-picture. Cool. Hey, check it out. Very neat. So the first thing that you're going to need to do is, download this thing. You're going to need to restart your computer afterwards as well. You may run into an issue where you have a security alert. So if it pops up, you can just approve it there. If not, you can go into security and privacy. It will open this screen here. And then if it's an issue, you'll see it down in this section right here. You might have to click this little lock, put in your password, give it the approval that it needs, and then close it. But you'll want to restart your computer after it's installed. And then once you get up and running, you will need to, hold on, scrolling down a little bit. I also had it here. Okay, so you're going to go up to your Spotlight search here, and you're going to search audio MIDI setup. Okay, hang on here. Installation, let's see. Oh, that's just getting it installed, so yeah, I gotta. So anyway, when you're here, you are going to create, you're going to go down here and click the plus button, and you're going to select Create Multi-Output Device. Now, I've obviously already done that. You can see that right here. But and actually, this is supposed to be selected, and I didn't have it selected. But anyway, multi-output device, you're going to have this there by default, and then you should see this. Just make sure that your screen looks like this when you're done, where you have both of these checked, and then you have drift correction checked as well. And make sure drift correction is unchecked for iShowU also. So once that's set up, then you need to go into your sound properties here, and you're going to want to make sure that, and by the way, you can just, again, click Spotlight Search, type in sound, and you'll see the top option there for sound options. Then when you're here, you just want to make sure that you choose multi-output device as your default output audio source. Now, I will say real quickly here that I did have an issue where with that selected as a default output device, I did something that made a program make a noise, and then it just kept repeating that noise like in a loop. So when you're not using OBS, it may just be best to switch it back to, your speakers or whatever built-in audio device you typically use. But I digress. Where was I here? Okay, so we're back here again. So yeah, anyway, multi-output device, make sure that's selected. Now, once you have that, hold on. There was one step that I missed. Audio MIDI set. Okay, yeah, we're going to go back a step. Audio MIDI setup. Another thing that you want to make sure that you have selected here is that sample rate equals 48 kilohertz. That was it. Okay, so now within OBS, hang on. Sound settings, select output device. So in OBS, and what you want to do, if I remember correctly, you're going to go into settings, you're going to go into audio, and then you can pick, I in this case picked mic auxiliary audio 2, and then from here I just picked iShowU audio capture from the drop down there. And then when you do that, it should show up down here in this audio mixer section. Now, one of the things that you'll want to do, if you right click on mic aux 2, and go to Advanced Audio Properties here, you will now see mic aux 2 in this list. I'm going to have a little sip of coffee here. And then where it says Audio Monitoring, you just want to make sure that you have monitoring turned off, and I'll show you why. So this is just a YouTube video. So I'm going to, and you can see that levels are coming through, which is good, but now watch what happens when I turn monitoring and output on, which, by the way, monitoring and output being on will allow you to monitor what's coming into OBS. But the problem is that creates kind of like a loop. So there you go. Monitoring and output turned on. That's what happens. So in this case, we can play. We can still hear what's going on because you're playing YouTube, but when you turn monitoring off, then you don't get that doubling up. But now, whether it's a YouTube video or whether it's, just a video or something on your computer, now you were getting audio coming in to OBS. And really, that's how you do it. That's how you do it. And that's great news because Mac, the options in Mac are a little bit different. Let's go back here. Than options in PC. PC just makes it a little bit easier. A lot of those features are built in. You don't have to download, plugins and things like that. But at the end of the day, by the way, it turned out that we're not live streaming that press conference. We're going to do a different, something different. But hey, it was good for me because I learned something in regards to OBS and Mac. One thing I will say too, I don't think I mentioned this. when trying to figure out the best possible way to live stream Zoom, what I ended up deciding I was going to do, assuming we were going to live stream this, is basically bring up OBS here. Let's see. And then I would, for example, and let me bring you back to this. There we go. So we're back here again. So then what I would do here is I would bring this onto the same screen. Now, because we're using Zoom, Zoom is going to be kind of low resolution anyway, right? So let's say I'm here in Zoom, and let's say I'm going to do this. I'm going to do a display capture. And let's see, how did I do it? Display capture. Hold on, display 0. Okay. And then basically I would frame this so that, no, what's going on? I would essentially, you get the idea. Basically what I would do is I would take the video of the Zoom call, use display capture, and then make this larger, which can be kind of a pain in the ass. But basically make it larger until it fills this frame. I would make it cleaner than that. But then you could at least play it, once Zoom is playing back, it'll be brought into OBS, and then that could be then streamed to wherever you want it to be streamed to. One thing that I did try was using window capture, which basically, you could have Chrome open or any window open for most programs on Mac, and this is also available on PC as well. And what you would do is, 10,000, almost 11,000 frames dropped. That is terrible. Anyway, but window capture will basically just try to pull in what's going on with whatever window you have open. Window capture does not work very well on Mac, and maybe it's just my MacBook. My MacBook. Now this MacBook is relatively spec'd out, but it was still just super glitchy and very laggy. So window capture I do not recommend, and I've never really used it on PC actually because I've never really had a need to, at least not with this setup. But window capture on Mac is not the best, so I would not recommend it if you're on Mac. So just something to keep in mind. But anyway, there you go. That's how I did it. And I hope that helps someone out there who's looking to do the same thing. But anyway, if you're still with me and if you enjoyed what you saw, I would appreciate if you'd hit that subscribe button and follow me wherever you happen, or follow me on social media at Ryan Hafey on Instagram and Twitter. And let's have a conversation when this is all said and done. Once again, if you are interested in starting a podcast or just learning more about editing or video photography, whatever it may be, and you want to schedule out an hour of my time to kind of pick my brain a little bit, feel free to do so. Just shoot me an email. My email is ryan@hafeydigital.com, or you can DM me on Instagram or Twitter at Ryan Hafey, and let's talk about it. But until then, I'm going to go ahead and call this one done. Please continue to keep on creating, making, and doing, and I will see you in the next one. Bye-bye.